Hi everyone, it's Rax. Last Epoch Season 2 has been out for a few days, and it seems like most people have been really enjoying it. But with every ARPG release, we have to do this state of video, and I'm going to go through all the things that I think went very well for EHG, and I do have a list of some things that I think could be worked on for the future. But overall, I'm very, very favorable toward this patch. I think it's one of the best releases for any ARPG that I can remember. For me, this is up there with like any of the best POE1 leaks or like the Diablo, one of the final Diablo 3 seasons where they changed the entire endgame. So let's just get into it. And like always, we're going to start with the good things. One of the biggest improvements for me in Last Epoch is just the actual engine of the game. They said that they moved to the Unity 5 engine or something. And the graphics themselves look so much better. And it's not just like, oh, like the greens look a little greener. It took some opportunities to make some parts of the campaign just far more beautiful. And I know I don't normally notice these things, but I noticed it for two reasons. The first reason is it was just such a dramatic change. And the second reason is because I've been speedrunning the game a lot. So I've just been kind of like blazing through. And so like when you go through a zone and it just has like a gray ground and a little sun in the background, and then you run through it and it's got like a full textured ground and a blazing sun like shooting fireballs everywhere in the background, you tend to notice those things. It's not just like the graphics though. It's also the way that the character plays. If I'm going to be honest, and I'm just always honest because I don't know, I just don't care. There has always been a little level of like jank. Is that a word? Jank in Last Epoch, where like you don't quite move exactly right. You don't quite port through right. Sometimes there's a little bit of lag when you open up your inventory or when you open up your stash or something like that. But just little tiny things here and there that just made it feel a little bit subpar. I can tell you, 80 to 90% of it has been removed with this update. It's just a lot more smooth. It's a nice, calm, smooth experience. It's noticeable. Whatever you guys have been doing back there to make the game play more like this, keep doing that. Keep doing more of that. And I'm really looking forward to. They said that they were going to do a revamp of more of these areas. Even for someone like me that doesn't quote unquote stop to smell the roses, I don't like stop and look around very often at how beautiful my environment is. If you do that good of a job, people are absolutely going to notice. In fact, I bet more of you guys watching the video probably noticed it even more than I did. The second thing is with the loot. Second good thing. This is for a lot of reasons. First of all, one of the things, I have a pretty good relationship with EHG. They said, hey, throw us any feedback that you have about anything. And I said, look, I play a lot of POE1, POE2. I play Diablo 4. I play Torchlight. I'm about to play No Rest for the Wicked. You want to know what I think Last Epoch is worst at? Like the worst out of any ARPG? Picking up items on the ground. Now, I understand I play very what's the word, unstably. I'm just trying to get A to B, just kill a monster, grab the loot, and move forward. That's just my personality. It's the way that I am. So if you play very calmly, kill the monster, you go pick up the loot, and then you walk away, maybe you don't notice it. But as someone that's trying to move from A to B, my ability to pick up something and move forward, it just isn't there. They said that they would expand the radius of how you could pick it up. And not only that, they would change how the movement worked when you picked it up to stop the moment that you had actually picked up the item. And I can tell you, it makes a huge difference. I went from complaining about it constantly to complaining about it like less than 5 times in 2 straight days of playing. Huge difference. It's also the cadence of how the loot drops with the Weaver tree in the end game. When you take the SSF buffs and you start progressing it and you get the prophecies, and then you get into the end game and you're learning how to like target farm certain things, whether you're target farming a blessing or target farming a certain item, this or that, or just chasing prophecies wherever they are. Your ability to generate loot pretty consistently to get those dopamine hits is very good in Last Epoch. It's very well done. And of course, part of the loot thing is the auto crafting materials just moving straight into the thing. It was nice to hit that button once in a while, but I'll be honest with you, I don't miss it. It's just way too efficient to not have that. I think that this is the first endgame expansion, other than maybe you can kind of count the Aberoth and the Harbingers last time, that actually makes a difference. I think the tombs and the cemeteries are pretty fun. I think crafting your own woven echoes and your own kind of web is fun. And some of the different crafting options like that they've introduced have made it better, which I guess is another point entirely. Being able to craft on idols and all the new runes that they've used for the different items. What I've noticed about a lot of them is a lot of them actually feel pretty endgame. I don't find myself using them too early in my character's progression. That might be like point of feedback. I don't know how much these crafting things, shattering sets or shuffling the affixes on exalted items like that. That's like very late game. You have to actually have the good loot to make it even worth it. So I guess the next thing would be, would there be anything for early game? But in general, that went very well as well. One thing that went very well, maybe you could argue too well, is the class rework. They reworked Sentinel. Forge Guards look kind of further behind again between Paladins and Void Knights, but Paladins and Void Knights just rule. They have like all the S tier builds on Maxroll. They're completely and utterly dominating. Like I had a marksman. I'm like, bro, I got to make a paladin, and this paladin as a level 60, I pulled a level 100 harbinger, and I stood still. I just tried to see if the harbinger could kill me. There was one, like his big ultimate attack almost killed me. This paladin is still deathless. And by the way, you know the other funny thing? I fought the Harbinger with yellows from the campaign, not even endgame gear. Yellows from the campaign just stood there. They just couldn't kill me. It's insane. So I'll be making a guide on exactly this build. By the way, you're gonna laugh your ass off when you see how powerful this is. But I want to show you something here in a moment when we get to the negatives, and I'll show you a situation here about maybe it's a little bit too good. But anyway, I'm never going to fault a company for saying that they're going to, tackle some passives and some skills and make them better and function better and have it succeed. I don't think we're quite in a Spiritborn level. I don't think we're that far away from the other classes. Some of the other classes are having some success at the high leaderboards. But I think overall, there is a gap now between Sentinel and the other ascendancies or the other base classes where there's just too many great options here, which we'll address in a little bit. The dungeon skips are nice. I've been using them. So nice not to have to do that stupid ass dungeon. The WASD beta. Some people reported it's not perfect. I said use the in-game report function, but for a lot of people, they said it's great. Like they have to have that movement or they won't play. It's there now. The Uber difficulty, as far as I know, it's the second day, and people have been progressing real fast. Too fast, actually. And I don't think anybody's killed Uber Aberoth. That's excellent. That's godly. It's exactly what we want. It needs to be unimaginably hard, because that's what that content is. That content is for like the 1% of the 1%. It's like beyond 500 corruption. It's just purely aspirational, just a ridiculous like dick measuring contest just to see if you could possibly do it. You've done well there. Another thing that I wanted to show you, which is why I logged in, is there's new stash affinities right here. If you don't know what this is, essentially it's a way to tell stash tabs what items you want to move where. With this ability, with this customization, I have trivialized looting and putting loot away. I'll make a video on it very soon, like within a day or two. And it's going to make your life so much better. If you don't know how to use this, be on the lookout for that video. And you're going to have tears running down your eyes. You're going to be so happy when you see how it works. Anyway, there might be more great things. If I missed any key ones, throw them down in the comments. But there's a ton of great things to talk about here. A lot of the stuff that they did worked. Now let's get to the improvements. Let's start with the most obvious one. It happens every time. And maybe this has to do with like pre-patching. What I mean by that is not having pre-patching. But the servers were very, very bad for a lot of people. I have very fast internet. I downloaded the update when it came out on the launch instantly, and I logged in. And all I saw for at least an hour or two was people spamming that they couldn't log in, and it's a streamer server, and they get racks in, but they don't let anybody else in. I think the reason why I got in is just because I just downloaded it instantly and logged in when no one else was on. And then I think the servers got immediately overwhelmed. The problem here is Last Epoch has an offline mode. So releasing a patch early is devastating. I wonder if they said they're exploring some things with Steam and seeing if they could do something with pre-patching. I also wonder, could they give us like a half patch early that like makes it not really work, but could they give us like the non-essential, like for example, the zone improvements, the graphical improvements? Could we download that patch a day early just to get most of the downloading out of the way? Are these things connected at all? Would that help the servers? I don't know. I'm not a server architect. I don't know if that would actually help. Maybe it wouldn't. But whatever they could do to further learn from this experience and further prepare, this really did piss a lot of people off. I mean, at this point, I've been doing this for so long. I never even expect to play. I was surprised that I logged in and played. But people were mad about that. The class balance. So we said that the Sentinel rework went very well. Oh, yes, it did. It went very well. But let me show you the hardcore ladder here. And what I want you to look at is the class column. So Paladin 1, and I believe this is a Druid, and I believe that this is a Shaman. So Paladin, Druid, Shaman. So you can win. You can do very well as not a Paladin. But we have Paladin, 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 Void Knight, Paladin, Paladin. By the way, Void Knight is also a Sentinel Ascendancy. Broodmaster, Paladin, 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 Druid, Paladin, 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 Druid, Paladin. So the class balance is not exactly there. And here, over the course of across many ARPGs, and I'm guessing EHG already knows this, but just to specifically call it out, the solution is not to go to your Paladin and your Void Knight and just nerf the shit out of it when you just created it and people really like it and it's a lot of fun. Now, I don't think I should be able to tank the level 100 Harbinger as a 60 Paladin in yellows for the campaign. Like, some adjustments are certainly needed, but I would strongly advise against going in and just ripping it apart. Do some analysis, see what the team thinks, and maybe go for a couple of things. Like, maybe it's just on the defensive side because their defenses are out of this world. Maybe we bring that down a hair. Maybe certain builds need their offense down a hair, But it does seem like Sentinels and Paladins and Void Knights are way too strong. Now, before anybody gets really mad that you made a Void Knight and a Paladin, they already said there's no nerfs during the season. The only time they will change something in the season is if something is actually bugged. I haven't tested it in depth. I don't know if there is a bug here. I'm not aware of any bugs, so you're good. Like, play your Paladins, play your Void Knights. I have one right here. Look at me go. But I'm saying for the future season, we need some better balance. And it's not just about offense. It's about quality of life and defense for the other classes. For example, one of the skills that I'm using here is the Symbols of Hope, this one. And what this does now is this generates every 2 seconds and it orbits around me and it doesn't have an expiration. You want to know what it used to do? You used to have to cast it all the time. It would orbit around you and then it had an expiration. So it's like, it sucked before. but the work that they've done on the quality of the life of this class is also very important. So just to give you that example, some of the other classes and ascendancies could use a lot more quality of life. Like the first thing that comes to mind is like, I love shamans. I played shaman for 15,000 hours in WoW. And whenever I have to do the stupid like Spriggan form or whatever it's called, like it's so like convoluted in how you like go back and forth and this and that or this and that. I always thought that, man, that could be dramatically improved. So when you're doing the class balance pass, it would be nice to see some of the quality of life stuff given to the other classes. And then just to call out a huge contrast. We already talked about the defense of a paladin. Compare that to the defense of Heartseeker, where yes, people say if you stack like glancing blow and enough dodge chance, then marksman can finally like try to stay alive. But all of that is based upon gear. And marksman is so, as Carve put it from EHG, giga softcore. I mean, you really can't even play that build unless you want to play a pure glass cannon, unless you know how to target farm all the right items right away, which a lot of people won't. So it's not just about changing offense. It's not just about changing quality of life. It's also the defense of the other classes. So I don't know how EHG works. Like, I don't know like how they schedule their updates or whatever. But I think one thing that would be cool to see is instead of saying, oh, next time we're going to completely change like Acolyte, all of the Acolyte ascendancies, it might be nice to target like one ascendancy from each class. That way, every season, people can have a little bit of a different choice in what they play. Because all eyes were on Paladin and Void Knight, and boy, did it deliver. And that's fine, but just the balance is way off. One interesting piece of feedback that I've heard a lot of people say, and it's, I mean, it's obviously true. I wouldn't put it in my video if it wasn't true, but you can see it right here. Is the progression speed is too fast. So tons of people were already level 100 on the very first day, especially in the normal thing. Like this is like one full day has elapsed, not even 2 full days yet, I think, as at the time of making this video. And I mean, how many 100s are there? I mean, there's already 30 people that have hit 100, not even 2 days in. So I think that that's definitely off. Like it shouldn't be like that. And I don't want these changes to like negatively impact people that don't blast the game all the time. So it can be like a much more common thing where like the last levels really ramp up and they're just very, very challenging to reach. But I think everything is just way too easy. If people are completing all the way to 100 on the very first day, that can't be right. Another thing that I would caution against is, again, here's what not to do. Don't just give all monsters 50% more HP. Don't just cut XP by 80% across the board. Like I've never seen EHG do something like that. I don't think they would, but kind of strategically figure out where do we want the game to start ramping up the difficulty in terms of getting the XP rewards and and then adjust it from there. I guess in plain English, what I would like to see is I would like to see it to be a little bit more of an achievement to hit 100 rather than like a very easy formality. One thing that surprised me is I actually got kind of caught with my hand in the cookie jar when I was playing my marksman. So, for example, most of the Maxroll guides say play the leveling build till about 70 and then respec to whatever ascendancy you want. Well, I played till about, I don't know, 74, and I checked the respec cost at 74, and it was like 240,000 gold. So like if I want to respec Forge Guard right now, I'm 71. It's 151. But every level incrementally here, it starts to ramp pretty quickly. And while it ramps quickly, your XP goes up by a lot in these early monoliths. It's going up quickly. Like I run like 2 or 3 echoes, maybe even less. It's probably like 2, and I've already leveled up again. So what does that mean? It means that if I don't have enough gold to respec by this point, which I didn't, if I run 2 echoes, then the cost of respecking it is going to go up by like 30,000 gold. I can guarantee you from the bottom of my heart, there ain't no way I'm going to make 30,000 gold in 2 echoes. Even if I pick the piles of gold reward, even if I find a loot lizard that drops me 3 set items or 3 legendaries that I vendor, there ain't no way I'm going to get that much gold in 2 echoes. So I had to actually, from 74 until like 77, I had to be very careful to like not get XP. And I had to like go back to the other timelines and farm the piles of gold up rewards. And so I wouldn't get experience. So I could finally get my gold to catch up to my XP cost so I could pay the respec thing. And all of this happened before stepping into empowered monoliths. So my feedback here is, unless you know to respec quite early, it's actually very, very tough if you don't have the gold to actually catch up to that balance. And when you hit empowered monoliths and the XP kind of slows down and your gold ramps up, then you start to outpace it. But by then, like people are going to respec at that moment or a little bit earlier. And then at that point, the fact that you outpace that mathematical formula doesn't matter. So what does all that mean? My advice here, what I think you should do is you should lower the mathematical formula for respecking like below level 80 or maybe at least to like 75. Give people a chance to respec a little bit easier by like 75, because from about 70 onward, it starts to catch up to you very quickly. I had to do some shenanigans. And by the way, don't forget that when I actually did finally respec, it completely bankrupted me. I had 3,000 gold. That didn't feel good either. Usually people are only going to do it once. So if they do it once and they do it before 80, I think you can feel okay lowering the cost without compromising the game in any way. Now, the tombs and cemeteries, they had 2 things that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit, and this is mostly feedback for early on in the tombs and cemeteries. I found myself like the strategy is when you get to the regular monoliths, you usually want to just rip through them as fast as you can. And I found like the tombs and the cemeteries, for the difficulty and the time that they took, even though they were cool, felt like I was going way faster if I just skipped them. Now, if you do them and you get like the woven echoes and you take the time to craft them, then you get the points in your tree and then you get stronger. There's an argument to be made that getting that progression as early as possible is good. And that's a fair point of feedback. But again, the reason why I think people might shy away from that strategy is they think, well, I'm starting to build my bank of woven echoes. I should probably use these in empowered monoliths, right? Not in these shitty early monoliths that I don't want to waste them, kind of thing. So I don't know. So what I ended up doing is I ended up just entirely skipping them until I got to empowered monoliths, and that didn't feel so good. So, for example, like a simple change that would have made me do them is if my time spent in a tomb or a cemetery relative to the time spent just zipping through a normal echo, if it would have paid me a lot more stability, if it would have actually been at least equal or higher time versus progression to get through the bosses, that change alone would have made me do them. So just a point of feedback there for future mechanics. If you put them in when I'm doing the regular monoliths, which is a good chunk of my time, and they aren't better than moving me through the progression from the regular echoes, I'm probably not going to do them unless you give me a godly reason to. The other thing that I think this is kind of a problem here. Maybe it's like a lack of knowledge on my end, but another thing that doesn't quite make sense to me is that the Woven Echo Enchanter at the end of these tombs and cemeteries, it only works on class specific idols. So you might think like, oh, like that wouldn't be too much of a problem, but it's actually a huge problem for me. You want to know why? I have plenty of class specific idols. I have plenty of them. They're like all the weird shaped ones. They're there. I guess they're all weird shaped, but none of them are good. Like the ability for me to find like some good class specific idols that really work with my build is very, very low. I don't have one. I don't have one for my Paladin. I don't have one for my Falconer yet, or my Heartseeker. I don't have one. So the whole thing is just useless to me. It was useless the entire time. I was very surprised when I ran through the first one. It's like, put in your class specific idol. I'm like, I think I have one, and it's like has like freeze multiplier on it, and I'm playing a Javelin Paladin like this, or what was I playing? I was playing a Shadow Dagger Umbral Blade Falconer. I'm like, this doesn't have anything to do with me. Like, okay, and maybe I'll go the next time. Nope, the next time I didn't have a good one. Like I had more of them, but none of them were good. So it just has very, very low value in the early game, but like massive value in the end game. When you find the one that you really like, then you're more than happy to use this enchanter. But that would be my most basic feedback. I would be absolutely shocked, blown away, if like 95% of people got a much value out of that enchanter in the first 2 days of playing. And that's a big feels bad moment, because that's the cool thing that you get to do at the end of the run, right? So a point of feedback for EHG in your season mechanics is, how does it work right in the very beginning when you've got nothing, and what value is it providing you? A little bit more stability on the timeline to progress the bosses, and an enchanter that could have worked on my shit idols while I wait for my really good idols would have been a lot better. Another couple of things that I just want to add in here. This doesn't have anything to do with the patch notes. Just two things that I think are just strange about the game, which I would love for EHG to look at for future seasons. When you go through the monoliths, anybody who knows, like if you know, you just go up the right side always. You go up the right side. It's the speediest way to do it, and then you go to your empowered monoliths, right? The whole left side of the monolith thing is like completely useless until you get into like the end game, and you have to like go get the harbingers and da 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 da, and you want to get like all the blessings, da 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 da. But in general, it's kind of weird. You just kind of you should run up just the right side every time. If you don't, that's just suboptimal, almost without exception. It's very strange, and I would love to see EHG have a meeting and brainstorm, how do we make it like not so weird. I guess it's not a problem for us. We just go up the right side, and just who cares? But it is just very weird, right? It's just a weird aspect of the game. And another thing about this is, I'm sure they know this, but some of the blessing pools for the rewards for some of these monoliths are just bad. They're all bad. And it's like, okay, well, you can only think of so many rewards to give. I get it. There aren't infinite ideas, and there's many choices for each echo, da 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 da. But like, as an example, if you go to Maxroll and look at some guides, some of the guides, they don't even bother listing what blessings to take for some of the monoliths, because they actually just, all of them just don't do anything to really help you at all. So it would be nice if we could combine like maybe the solution is not to just go up the right side. Maybe you have to do all of them, but you change the rewards of the blessings, and they're all like super good. So like, might take a little bit more time, which slows down the progression, but you get better blessings. So it feels good to do it anyway. And it extends the race a little bit, extends the end game in an intelligent way, rather than just increasing monster HP or just cutting our XP by 80% or whatever. Just an idea, something to think about. I will tell you one more thing. I would love it if you could find a solution for this, especially as you make the stash much better. Again, watch for my video later. I would love it if we could somehow preserve this structure. I can make the most beautiful structure for this. Like I only spent like 5 minutes making this, but I have completely trivialized like putting loot away. And I'll make a video. I'm gonna make everybody so happy. But here's what doesn't make me happy. I'm gonna have to rebuild this next season and next season and next season. And yes, I can do it in 5 or 10 minutes, but I don't want to do it every time. So like there's a million different solutions you could think of, but here's like one solution. You pay your first time that you buy a tab, it like just a season bonus, it gives you like 10 tabs, and it sets up like a basic structure that you have saved. If you want bonus points, if you want to make my life really easy, do the same thing that you did with loot filter and have me able to copy how the structure of that is, like the first 10 tabs or whatever. So I could do it in a paste bin, just make a video and say, guys, you want to copy my structure that just trivializes looting in this game? Here it is. Just copy it. And then you pay whatever price you want, 5,000, 10,000, 30,000 gold at the start of a season. You open up with 10 tabs, but boom, it starts off with the basic structure. That would be so nice. This is for the people that really like your game. The people that really like your game that are coming back again and again and again, would make their life pretty easy. Because building this again is a little bit demoralizing. But you have made it a lot better, so I'll forgive you this time. That's a feature I would love to see in the future of Last Epoch. Okay, well, that's about it. I mean, I had to really sit here and brainstorm about some things that I didn't like. I got, I think, 7 key things down there, but really great work by EHG. I saw that they had 250K on launch. They had 71 on season 1, I believe. And now they've had at least 150K for multiple days in a row. So not only do they have twice as much as the previous season, but they're also, at least over the weekend, seeming to hold their player base, meaning the people that are logging in and playing are enjoying it. I love to see that. I see people walking around with cosmetics that they bought in the shop. Hope you guys are making money, man. I hope you guys are frying. I think you guys deserve the success. Thanks for listening to the community. Thanks for improving the game. I look forward to what you guys make on future seasons. If you guys have something that you really loved that I missed, or you have something that's really pissing you off that I didn't cover, put it down. I'll put some hearts on it. I'll pin some stuff. EHG, I'm sure they'll watch this video, and I'm sure they probably maybe are already working on this stuff without my video, or maybe they already have their own ideas of what they're going to do with things, but they're very community driven. So if you have a good idea, post it. If you read other people's ideas, thumbs up it. I'll heart it. We'll put it at the top. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. I have a lot of content coming for you. I will update my loot filter today, so the guide will be out tomorrow. I'll also have a guide for you on how to trivialize the loot with the stash tab. Boy, if you don't know how that works, you're going to love that video. Make sure you watch that one. It's going to be short too. It's not complicated. I'll have a build guide for you for this paladin. This paladin is stupidly strong. I'm going to hold off on an endgame Heartseeker build because I don't actually love my Heartseeker guy. I got to find out some that works really well. I'm not just going to post a video just to say I posted it. I did a torchlight race. Might make a 5-minute video about that. Torchlight is fun. No Rest for the Wicked is coming up. I'm going to make a video on that. Can't wait to play that game. I'm feeling good, man. Feeling good about ARPGs. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thank you.